The Icon Park drop tower incident happened in 2022. Now that the final investigation has been published, I've updated the episode with the latest information. Screams of excitement echo through Orlando's Icon Park as the ride ascends the world's tallest freestanding drop tower. The round vehicle rotates as it rises 430 feet high. With every second, the guests get more excited. Once they reach the top, they will be dropped into a free fall to experience the ultimate adrenaline rush. There's a kid on the ride, however, that seems to lack enthusiasm. He's frightened, and for a good reason. He feels something's wrong. After a brief pause at a daunting height, the ride begins to fall. The free fall lasts for just a couple of seconds before magnetic brakes engage. When the ride finally returns to the ground, the frightened kid is gone. His seat is empty. As realization sets in, other guests can be heard screaming in panic. A park visitor recorded a video of the incident, which quickly spread on social media. Drop towers are categorized as super rides, the ultimate attraction of amusement parks worldwide. A lure for thrill seekers and adrenaline junkies, they offer the excitement that can't be found in ordinary joy rides. That's what makes them super rides, after all. But apart from excitement, super rides are not without risks to riders. Very often there's a thin line between these two. At Icon Park on International Drive in Orlando, Florida, the Freefall Tower has been one of the most popular attractions since its opening in December of 2021. The ride ascends to a height of 430 feet. At the top, the seats tilt forward by 30 degrees before plummeting nearly 400 feet towards the ground. During the drop, riders experience an astonishing speed of 75 miles per hour. It was manufactured by the renowned amusement ride company from Austria, Fun Time Rides, and was operated by the Slingshot Group. As Coaster College on YouTube has pointed out, there have been two further recent incidents at Slingshot's rides. In September of 2020, a maintenance worker died after falling off Icon Park's Orlando Starflyer. Then, months later, in March 2021, a cable snapped on the Slingshot ride at Old Town in Kissimmee due to suspected operator error. So now, one can ask if these were isolated events, or if there's possibly a pattern of safety issues with the Slingshot Group. When Tyree Sampson came to ride the drop tower on March 24, 2022, it had been in operation for only 3 months. As the park's latest attraction, everyone was eager to try it, so was Tyree. Tick, as his friends called him, was an exemplary 14-year-old boy from St. Louis, Missouri, who was visiting Orlando for a football program. He was a promising talent with high hopes of establishing a career in the sport. At his age, Tyree was just a kid who wanted to play football and have fun. Icon Park seemed like the perfect place to go. However, there was a slight problem that prevented Tyree from enjoying his visit. He was a pretty big boy for a 14-year-old at 6 foot 5 inches tall and 340 pounds. For this reason, he had been turned away from 2 rides at the park, including the Giant Slingshot, another top-rated attraction. But Tyree was determined to go on one of the super rides and tried his luck at the drop tower around 11:30 p.m. Surprisingly, he was allowed to take one of the 30 seats. A friend who came with him also went for a ride. Being a big kid, Tyree was feeling uncomfortable in his seat. The vehicle ascended and reached the top 430 feet above the ground. Then, as it was unhooked, it began to freefall. About 5 seconds and 400 feet later, the ride started to slow down under the force of the magnets. At this height, Tyree dropped out of his seat and fell to the ground. The park crew rushed to the scene, but there was little they could do. Almost immediately, a local 911 operator received a call from a disturbed witness reporting that someone had fallen off a ride at Icon Park. It didn't take long for paramedics to arrive and transport the boy to the hospital. But it was too late. Tyree Sampson died from his injuries. The same night, firefighters and law enforcement officers shut down the ride. On the next day, March 25th, an inspector from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Affairs arrived at the scene to check the safety of the drop tower, especially of the seat from which Tyree Sampson fell. Once in a seat,
Riders on the freefall tower are held in place by hydraulic over-the-shoulder restraints. These contain the rider firmly, leaving no room for movement once locked. It was found that the restraint on Tyree's place was in a down position and locked when the ride stopped. Every seat at the drop tower is equipped with a proximity sensor that detects if the restraint is in the correct position and locked. A green light above the seat turns on only when the sensor detects the restraint. The ride vehicle is programmed to be unable to ascend unless all riders are locked in their seats. Moments after the fall, operators were heard discussing whether the seat was locked. One then confirms that everything was in order by clearly stating that the light had been on.
I don't know. Did you check it? Yeah, the light was burning. You guys are sure you checked it? We did, yeah. The light was on.
Before the tower first opened in December 2021, officials inspected the ride and found no defects on any of the systems included.
Since it was a brand new ride, the next inspection was scheduled for June 2022, 3 months after the tragedy. Florida officials hired Quest Engineering and Failure Analysis Incorporated to investigate the accident. They measured the average restraint opening for seats on the ride at 3.33 inches, which is considered within the normal safety range. Contrary to standard settings, the restraint opening on Tyree's seat was manually adjusted to an expanded 7.19 inches. The harness sensor in his seat had been manually loosened, adjusted, and tightened. This misadjustment of Tyree's proximity sensor improperly satisfied the ride's electronic safety mechanisms. Specifically, the ride's sensor lights illuminated, signaling that the ride was safe to operate, even though this wasn't the case. The report confirmed that during slowing of the ride, Tyree Sampson slipped through the gap between the seat and the harness. There were no mechanical or electrical failures. Operator error is suspected as the accident's primary cause. But investigators also mentioned many other potential contributions. Particular attention has been paid to the ride's operating manual and the listed requirements for riders. It states a maximum weight limit of 286 pounds. Late Tyree Sampson was, as mentioned, a big kid and weighed 340 pounds, about 50 pounds above the limit. The drop tower's manual explicitly tells operators to, quote, be careful when seeing if large guests fit into the seats. Check that they fit within the contours of the seat and the bracket fits properly. If this is not so, do not let this person ride. And for a good reason, that is. Once the ride enters freefall, guests experience intense G-forces that would lift them out of their seats, making a properly closed shoulder restraint crucial. In the days following the accident, amusement ride safety experts came forward, calling out that the drop tower's design didn't include any seat belts connecting the shoulder restraints to the bottom of the seat. Some freefall rides at major amusement parks, like the one at Universal's Islands of Adventure 3 miles north of Icon Park, include a seatbelt in addition to over-the-shoulder harnesses. However, Funtime Rides quotes a safety certification stating that the restraint system is adequate. Quote, it has 2 independent locking devices, and the shoulder restraints are monitored. It is no need for extra safety or seatbelt because the seat and restraint system fulfill more than the requirements. Meanwhile, Tyree Sampson's family took legal action. They filed a lawsuit against several parties associated with the drop tower, including Icon Park, the ride's operator Slingshot, the ride manufacturer, and the producer of the chairs. The lawsuit primarily cited the absence of posted weight limits and alleged operator errors as the key contributors to the accident. Within a short period, the family reached an undisclosed settlement with Icon Park and Slingshot. As for the foreign manufacturers, the legal battle continued. Given the severity of the incident and public safety concerns, the Orlando Freefall Drop Tower was ultimately dismantled and removed from the site.
I love that you guys went down.
That's my
Yeah, that motherfucker looks like I.
Y'all ever been on here before?
Negative.
I've never had it either.
That's great. That's fucking great.
You know how you're going? 430 feet.
That's great.
Coming down, 75 miles per hour.
Why doesn't this have like the little click twist? Like the seatbelt?
Seatbelt?
Yeah.
There ain't any. You know who Pennywise is? It. Yeah. I work at Hunt House Casino, so if you see my red balloon up there to be confetti, real pretty, you pop it, you'll drop. Woo! A lot of times we can keep you up there as long as you want for 90 seconds.
Fantastic.
Yeah, make it go faster than 75.
Oh, there's more people in here, it'll go come down at 80.
Was that like an invite or?
It's $12, man. Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. That's all right. I want to keep my food in my belly for now.
I'll be sure to share mine with you. So if you come back down.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, let's step up.
Oh shit.
Hey, you check your seatbelt on the left side. Seatbelt.
Nope.
Seatbelt.
Yeah. Damn, I feel like I'm in a, whatchamacallit, in a, not a solarium, what do you call it? The show where you see the stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit sound like a machine from like the Avengers. Powering up. Going to the quantum realm. I'd be laughing if they don't land right here. Are they gonna land in the same spot that they came in? Yeah. Cool. I want to watch their faces. Yeah, but my arm hurts already. There we go.
Did you check it?
Yeah, the thing the light was burning.
You guys are sure you checked it?
Yeah, the light was on.